Hey everyone,
This is Mukul.
and this is Swapnil.
Welcome to Going Slow podcast, where we discuss our product journeys.
And also have casual discussions around life, universe, and everything in between.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 5 of Going Slow podcast.
Wow. 5 is a big number. It feels like a milestone.
In every episode, we say that now.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I agree.
It's been a month, right? We released the trailer on 3rd November. So, yeah.
True. Almost 30 days back, we released the trailer, and after 3 days, we released the first episode. And I like that we are consistent.
Yeah. Cool. So, let's start. What's up? What have you been up to?
Nothing big has happened, but it has been a good week. So we just checked the November stats, and it was a positive growth month for us. So that's a small win for us. We had a negative month 2 months back, so we are happy that we are now going to the right and the top. So yeah, that's it. What about you? How's it going?
Yeah. So, at Rocket, the cohort is in progress and the placements would start the mid of the month. So, we're just preparing for that. And other than that, I'm just traveling. Like you can see me in a new setting today, and traveling again tomorrow. So yeah, next week is mostly at some place or the other. Looking forward to meeting a lot of old friends.
Interesting. So for Rocket, it's not monthly recurring revenue, right? It's
Hmm.
uh, like when the cohort is running, then it must be running on the cash flow you have already, and after that, once the cohort is done, once some members get assigned to a job, then you get the revenue, right?
Right, right. And in that also there is a delay because there is a duration, there's a time period for which if the candidate stays, then after that we get paid. So it's not even just after placement, it's after they complete their probation or some time period that they stay there. It's like a very long process.
Oh, that's super interesting. And do you see a drop? Like, do you see there's a drop in that, or is it like 100% you get the, or do you see sometimes that there's a
No, no,
drop?
it's not even close to 100 there. There's a significant drop there. And there are a bunch of reasons. Sometimes people don't like the work. Sometimes companies don't like the people for whatever reason. They feel that they should be doing more, or yeah, it's a bunch of reasons. It's very hard to predict anything in the talent market, especially as of now, because as of now things are remote, so there's a lot of optionality in the market. I think from maybe 3 months down the line it will settle back because I'm hearing most of the companies are bringing their employees back, even if not to the office, but at least into the same geographical area, like within a certain distance of the office. And yeah, I think that's how HRs are looking to retain talent.
Got it. Do you think you will have ever a physical office space for Rocket? Like, do you ever imagine that?
I think as per my lifestyle, I don't want to do that. But it depends on like how fast or how big we grow. Right now we are a very small team, so we can sync on calls and stuff. But let's say we grow to 10 plus people, then I don't know, maybe it depends on what people say. Like if people say we are okay doing remote thing, so I don't want to force people to come to an office. What I have in mind is, and I want to experiment that early next year, is doing sprints in person. So I've seen some open source projects do this stuff. So I know the Vue.js core team, what they did was they brought all the core contributors at one place for a week, and then they did a lot of brainstorming in person, and of course the actual coding part could be done later, but all the planning and architecture and all the key design decisions they took during that 1 week of physical presence. And I hear that was a very productive week for them. So I'm thinking the same, that maybe in the next couple of months, if I can get the team together at some place, maybe Goa. But yeah, let's see. At some place, just get together for a week and just work on some experiments and brainstorming basically. Because the rest of the work that I don't feel we need to be in the same room for, but just planning the roadmap and experimenting with new domains, that I feel would be done much better in person. And it also gives a reason to just hang out with the team. Like, I haven't met the team in real life yet. So I think it will be a good way to catch up as well and party for sure.
Makes sense, makes sense. It's like annual retreat, but I think instead of annually, you will do it on like regular intervals or maybe quarterly or something like that.
Yeah, I think annual would be a
Too
bit
much, too
far, but
long.
yeah, either half yearly or quarterly is what I have in mind. And again, this will figure it out after trying. But yeah, I want to try it at least once in the coming months and see how that goes.
Makes sense. Totally.
So I saw on your Twitter that you did an AppSumo.
Yeah, so basically we listed independent version of Appointo in AppSumo. It was totally an experiment. There was nothing to lose kind of. So as mentioned in the earlier podcast, that we wanted to kickstart the independent version of Appointo and solve that cold start problem. So we published it in the AppSumo. The response is okay, not I would say what we were expecting. So we are just now circling back and thinking, should we do next? What things we can improve on, and what are the things we should focus on actually? Because it's totally, there are multiple directions and we are not sure which direction would turn out to be the best. So we're just trying like, so it's like a chessboard. So if there are eight pawns, eight directions, so we are just moving all pawns ahead, and we'll which pawn has higher priority in the
Right.
future.
So to list on AppSumo, like, do you have to pay a fee, or how's that process?
No, I think they have two different plans. One is AppSumo. You can list your app there. That's what we have done, and it's free. Whatever basically sale happens through AppSumo, they will take 30% cut over that, and we'll get 70%. But there is other thing called AppSumo Select, where they take like extra measures, like they will push their marketing team to market your product. In that case, they will take 70% cut and you will get 30% cut. So in that case, like I think the number of sales and the revenue is a lot higher because their marketing team is putting a lot of efforts in that. Yeah, I think it's the price for distribution, which we were ready to pay for, but we did not get selected for select. So we were like, let's do AppSumo then.
Or like 70 is pretty high. And then you will also give a discount. Like, normally AppSumo has these lifetime deals.
Yes, yes, yes. It's everything. It's like leverage. They have the leverage. They have the distribution. They have everything, and you just want to like kickstart that cold start problem and just want to get the things rolling. So there's a huge discount on your plans plus the 70% cut. But I mean, from our side, we were okay with that. Like, we were totally on board. Like, it's totally win for us in the long run. Initially it's a bit lost definitely, but in the long run we see it as a, but yeah, I mean, this kind of marketplaces are amazing way to generate revenue. I think Udemy takes 60% cut. That's what I have read. If you're buying courses on Udemy, Udemy takes 60% cut and creator gets the remaining 40. So that's the power of distribution, I would say.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's
mean,
a good business in itself.
yeah, I'll give you one more example regarding the power of distribution. So there is this TV series called Cobra Kai. Have you heard of it? It's a TV show. So its first season was released on YouTube TV series. YouTube was releasing a lot of TV shows, and this Cobra Kai's first season was released there. And the first season was decent, like it was nice, but it didn't get the viewership it deserved. So next time, the next season was renewed on Netflix, and when it was released on Netflix, it was in top 10. It was hit, and it got all the viewership or all the uh, like things they wanted and more when they got released on Netflix. So the headlines of the news were something like this, that the Cobra guy got saved by Netflix. Because it's the distribution that solved the problem, not the content. So that's when it hit me, like it's always the distribution that will solve the problem and not the product or the content.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yep. So in the last episode, I think we discussed my books, but we like didn't get a chance to discuss your books. So I know that you write like a lot of books every year, right? So what are like top? I'll put a number so that you will get hard. You'll have hard time to decide. So what are your like top two fiction and top two non-fiction books?
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll take a moment to collect my thoughts here. This is like very sudden. So fiction, first one I'll put The Alchemist for sure. That is like that goes like without thinking. That has had a lot of effect on me. I think I read it at the right time, and that's the thing with most books. Not most books, like all books. You need to pick it up at the right time, and I think that's what I did with The Alchemist. And so, like, have you read The Alchemist?
I started it. I didn't finish it.
So, like, did you pick it up recently?
No, no, I picked it up like 5, 6 years back when I was in college when I didn't have any patience to.
Got it. Got it.
uh, yeah, so
Maybe if you pick it up now, maybe you will relate more to it because it so the overall theme it relates to a lot of omens and how everyone is conspiring to help you. Like there's a concept there, they call it pronoia. So pronoia is the opposite of paranoia. If you're paranoid, you think that everyone is out there to get you, everyone is trying to bring you down and everything else. But that theme of the alchemist is pronoia, where it says that just think the opposite, that everyone is trying to help you, and that was very empowering. So you can just flip your mindset saying you are the hero. Like everyone, I think everyone knows it at a subconscious level that whatever you're doing right now, you are the hero of your own story. Everyone else is a side character. But the book hammered another point, which is very important, I think for me at least, which was there's no villain. There's no one who's trying to sort of block you or trying to put obstacles in your path. But it's the opposite. You can just ask for help and you'll get it.
interesting. Did we read the same book? I think I did not give book a fair chance. I'll try reading it again. I think I have skipped it too early, or I don't remember it as of now why I skipped it. But yeah, makes sense. Like this sounds interesting. Specifically that term, pronoia. I have heard it for the first time.
Yeah,
Paranoia is something I'm familiar with.
yeah.
Pronoia is totally different. And this.
So I'll go with the second favorite fiction book. It's called The Little Prince, and I actually read it this year itself, and it has already become the choice of gifting. Like I have gifted it to so many people, and it's very beautiful. After reading it, I just searched about it, and then I got to know that it's actually one of the top translated books of all time. So it's originally written in French, but it's translated, and I think it's the number of times or the number of copies sold in translation is very close to something like Bible or something like it's one of the top few books that have been translated into so many languages. Like after reading it, I actually understood why. It's sort of a children's book, so you can like pick it up as a 10-year-old and the story makes complete sense. But when I picked it up this year, so there's an underlying story for a child, but as an adult, I could figure out deeper meanings. And I think that's what made the book so special to me, that you had like two layers of stories and things that the author wants to convey. And it's a very simple, it's a short read. So you can like finish it in probably 2 hours or something. It's like less than 100 pages. So super small.
Yeah,
But
can you like give like one line summary of what it is about? I mean, I just saw like it's very highly rated on Goodreads. I just marked it as want to read. But yeah, can you give like a small
yeah,
recap?
sure. So I just sort of read back a couple of the excerpts, and actually just read out one of them, and I think that will give an overarching theme. So at one place the author talks about, or the little print talks about how grown-ups like numbers very much. So it's like a very meta topic. I'll just quickly read it out. So grown-ups like numbers. When you tell them about a new friend, they never ask questions about what really matters. So they never ask what does his or her voice sound like, what games do they like best, do they collect butterflies. You don't ask any of this stuff. What they ask is how old are they? How many brothers do they have? How much they weigh or something? How much money do they have? Only when they have these numbers in place, then they think that they know them. If you tell grown-ups that I saw a beautiful red brick house with geraniums at the windows and doves at the roof, they won't be able to imagine such a house. You have to tell them I saw a house worth 100,000 bucks, then they exclaim what a pretty house. So yeah.
This is a children's book. This
Exactly,
is
exactly, right? It's supposed to be a children's book, and that's what I said, right? It has multiple layers. So as a child, you can read it and you can be, yeah, this was a good story. But when I picked it up as an adult, and it sort of hit me at a different level. And yeah, this is just one of them. It also has other themes of like attachment and how everyone likes to just be busy. And yeah, I think you'll actually love it. Just pick it up. Like I said, it's a very small book,
yeah,
and
definitely. Like it was written not recently. It was written in 1930s and 40s, right? Like this is amazing. Like it's very deep and very accurate in that short paragraph itself. Damn, I'll definitely read it.
yeah, it was written. I think the author was part of a war, and yeah, that's well, the author has a tragic story. He was a pilot before World War II, and yeah, some of it is inspired from his experiences during that time.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, there's this one novel which I recommend it to everyone, and it has like, it has impacted me a lot in a way, not like to my decisions, but it always, like, whenever I think of a novel which has like a deep impact, I always think of that novel. Oh, because it was such an emotional override for me while reading that novel. That novel's name was Flowers for Algernon. So have you read that?
I have it in my next month's reading list.
It's one of the so when I started reading it, I didn't have any expectations with that novel, so I didn't know what was coming. And when I read it, and I was like, whoa, this is like a emotional train wreck. So just to give you a gist, or anyone who is listening, basically, the gist is there's this guy, the hero, who is at the start of the novel, is mentally retarded. His IQ is very low, so he doesn't know simple things or can't do simple things, or he's very simple, I would say. Like in and the writing in that novel is extremely beautiful. So basically, the novel is written on his behalf, like or from his point of view. So you will see lot of spelling mistake, lot of wrong grammar, lot of a way that a child will write the book at the start. So what happens, like scientists do some experiment and injects him with something which increases his IQ little by little. So something like his IQ starts increasing, and in the novel you will see that his writing gets better and better. So with time you will see that the grammar is getting better, there is no spelling mistake, and you will see that the sentences are very complex, or more, I would say, adult way, or more organized. And it's emotional in a way that because he realized a lot of things when he gets smart. And so for example, he realized that the people who he thought were nice at the point he was simple were not so nice when he got smart. Like they were not nice to me when I was simple, they were teasing me, or they were, I mean, from his point of view, he was, when he got smarter, he, so the ideology was that he'll get happy, but he did not get happy. So there are a lot of other things too, but it's a very, very, very good book. And I'm happy that it's already in your next month's reading list. Let me know how do you like it?
Yep, yep, for sure. All right,
And yeah,
so moving to non-fiction. So yeah, the first is I like that I'm able to articulate the first one so clearly, both in fiction and non-fiction, because that is like a common question. So, like the first is the courage to be disliked, and yeah, I read this earlier this year as well, and it's like, have you read it?
no. Can you
Okay.
give like a explanation, like what it is about?
Yeah, so
Read it.
it it's a nice introduction to Adlerian psychology. So, like normally, like you would have heard of Freud and Jung, their psychology, whatever their work was. This is a so Alfred Adler had, like, he worked on something he called as individual psychology, and that basically says that you choose who you want to be. That's the gist of it. And then there are a lot of examples in the book. So let's say I'll just give an example, and this is something which he gives in the book as well. That let's say you have a friend who wants to be a writer or whatever, and but whenever you talk about that particular thing, he makes some excuses about how he does not have the time, or he feels that he does not know how to write or whatever. So basically, he tells you some reason. So what Adler says is it's not that the reasons drive the outcome, it's the opposite. First, as an individual, you decide on the outcome. He says that's how we usually do things. So he argues that your friend has already decided that he doesn't want to do it, and now he's making up reasons to make a coherent story of why he doesn't want to do that. So he says that even if you meet him or her 5 years down the line, the outcome would be the same. It's just that they will manifest new reasons. Now they'll say that they have a family or they have something else, and the reasons change so that they can explain to you about why this is not what they are doing. But at their core, they have first decided the outcome. And I really like that fact, because like not everybody talks about this. So he basically like denies the cause effect relationship. He says, I think that is called teleology or etiology. Like I'm bad with terms, but yeah, these are two terms that he uses. So one of them is the Alfred and Jung's thing, which is cause and effect, that you have, let's say, some events in your past that shape you as per your current thing. And what Adler argues is you have basically decided how you want to behave right now, and then you handpick, you cherry pick things from your past that makes a coherent story, and that to tell yourself as well as others ki hey, I am this because this happened to me in the past. So yeah, that was like a good thing that I read.
You're giving me a lot of heavy points to think about in the morning. This is
Yeah.
very, this is very deep, and yeah, I mean, now that I think of, uh, it's definitely very true in the sense, like, for example, I was watching like lot of Mr. Beast videos, YouTube videos recently, and if you see him like few years back, those videos are still on his channel, and he was doing that consistently for 2 3 years, and he was getting like very less views, like extremely small amount of views, but he was still doing it because he was so sure of the outcome that he know, and he was not giving himself any reasons that hey, I don't want anything like, uh, I just want to reach that outcome, maybe not now, but maybe in that time. Instead of giving some reasons that, hey, this might not work for me, or this is not possible for me, or the way you said that first you decide the outcome and then you decide the lies around it. Yeah, that makes total sense. Because when I saw those videos, and I saw a few videos related to his journey too, and I saw, damn, I was like, whoa, this is true, very true. That he was very consistent and he didn't give himself any reason to quit, or he was just going through it. And I think it might be true for you too, like when you quit your job, you pursued many ideas and then you were stuck to the outcome that I will make something, not the other outcome.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. This is like going in the direction of those 2 a.m. conversations
Yeah, in the morning.
in the morning. Okay, so I'll move to the final recommendation. So my second non-fiction recommendation is non-violent communication. And my key takeaway from that was there's no real need of anger. Like anger is not a core feeling. That is what I took away from that. And at at the core of any anger, like if you're angry about something, the core is that you expected something and expectation did not meet reality, and that is why you're showing anger. And I remember an example from that book. So let's say you're waiting for someone and they arrive a bit late. It could be you're sitting at a cafe, or even in this remote world you're waiting on a Zoom call, and if they arrive late, you can feel hurt. So basically you can start thinking like, hey, maybe they don't care about my time or whatever, and then you can feel hurt, and then maybe you can show anger to basically describe what you're feeling there. But it's very contextual. You could alternatively, if you have a different need at that time, let's say your need is to, maybe you needed some time of quiet solitude, like you needed some time to recharge even for 5 minutes, then you actually are thankful to the other person for being late because you needed that me time for those minutes. The author sort of argues that, so it's not the behavior of the other person that is making you angry, because in both cases the behavior of the other person is same, that is, that person is late, but it's your own need that is causing the anger. So if your need is to spend time very constructively and purposefully and in a planned way, then you sort of feel frustrated and then you show anger. But if your need was something else, which is just chilling out, then you're actually thankful to the other person. So it's very like, so the core point was the behavior of the other person and anger is like totally independent. And I was like, okay, again, this is deep.
Yeah. That, with anger, I also think that if you get angry in a conversation or a certain habit, you already lost that battle actually. That it's something like, because then the senses of getting like a good judgment gets cloudy, and it's very hard to say that whatever you do at that point of time is right or wrong. It's almost like being alcoholic.
Yeah.
At that point when I was 10, 11, I was very short tempered, but I always wanted to be like a lot calmer. Like I didn't want to be get angry, or because that's what I've seen. Like many people who are like very, who are like good at something or doing, like for example, like the way you are now, you're running like a startup, you can't get angry at things basically whenever things go wrong. You have to be calm, you have to stay calm and take right decisions when you are, when any fuck ups happen or any bad things happen. So I think that's I personally want to practice that and what's that too basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Like right now you're co-founders, right? You don't
Yeah.
have people. So like with a co-founder you can never get angry, right? Because of course you have to for if you are debating on some particular points, but you can argue about those particular features, but you cannot get angry on the person itself.
Yeah.
So that is a nice distinction to have there.
Yeah, it's like, for example, you're drunk kind of situation, right? It might make sense in that moment, but you know that after some time it will not make sense. And I think, for example, after running Side Panda for a year, I realized that mostly there will be lot of cases, scenarios where things will go wrong, and things will go wrong not because of you, sometimes because of you, sometimes because of other person, but there is no point in saying why would you do that, and getting angry. And it's just mostly like solving that problem, like it's like another problem to solve instead of getting angry. uh, that's why like when people uh, get angry at their employees, I don't understand. Like you shouldn't get angry at them because they are like very new to the system, and if you're getting angry at them, then you are not doing a basically good job uh, at that. So yeah, I mean, that was like my perspective. It got created in the last year basically.
Yeah, anger sort of feels like a shortcut to convey whatever we want to convey. So we just feel that by being angry, the other person will understand ki this is not to be repeated. But that's not the solution. You have to tell them what is it that went wrong, what how does that affect other things. Like you have to show them the big picture, and you have to empower them to make the correct decision next time. Like if you haven't solved for these, just showing anger is sort of like, I don't know, it feels like a power move and it does not really solve
Definitely.
anything.
Yeah, I mean, one of my manager said to me once that senior employee is not the one who has stayed for the long time. A senior employee is the one who has been through a lot of difficult situation or lot of different situations. So for example, if you have worked on different problems, then it gives you perspective of like different areas. Like for example, if you're doing just one thing for 8 years, then you're good at one thing because you're not aware of other things. So he was like, senior employees, like he has seen a lot of different problems, he has been through a lot of different situations, and now he is aware that, oh, there are so many things that can go wrong. So instead of like letting other feelings control you, know how to navigate that.
Right. And it's something that many people don't realize. So like I have a close friend, the one I'm staying with right now. I just came here yesterday, so I met him and we talked a lot yesterday. So what he has done is, so he was in tech and then he went to the finance domain, and now he's looking to come back into tech. Now he's evaluating right now, and he has a total of 5 years of experience. But yesterday when we were talking, he was sort of skeptical about how he would compete with new grads. And I was trying to explain him the same thing, that the kind of experiences that you have had, the kind of situations that you have been in, that that itself is a huge leverage which nobody can take it away from you. And that is actually very important in work. So we only we only see the surface level, which is you get this input specifications and you output the code or whatever deliverable you have, but you have all these meta life skills going on as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of my friend he told me that experience is something that cannot be transferred. So no matter how many tips anyone gives, like for example, how many self-help books on creating a business you read, you will make those same number of mistakes when you try it because it's just, and I think there is no other way just to go through it, I guess. And that person, I think he has a very good experience of 5 years, and that cannot be transferred to a new grad. So he has a definitely upper edge in terms of life experience. So I think, I mean, he has a very solid bio in that sense.
Yeah. I have a blog post written on this as well. I'll just send you in the chat. Yeah, so basically the gist is your experiences are what makes you unique. So
Let's add it in the notes too in
yeah,
today.
yeah.
So the blog title is Experiences Build Your Skill Tree in the Game of. Imagine a game where there are no rules and you can do anything. That would be such a boring game, isn't it? Life is no different from MMORPGs. You can choose your mission or simply enjoy side quests. The core is your skill tree. You can unlock new skills and upgrade or master existing ones using your experiences. But experiences are limited as they cost time and energy. This is your real constraint which makes the skill tree unique to you. Experience is food for the brain. Your experience and the consequences you have faced act as the foundation of your skill tree. All advice is out there, but it's hard to internalize until you have suffered. If you haven't experienced it yourself, they are blanket words for you. I work 4 hours a day. Why? Because I have been burned out multiple times. You can read about work life balance all you want, but it's hard to convince yourself to work less until you have suffered in that area. It's the same with charging on day one or charging more for your product. You need to go through this journey yourself to appreciate this advice. Only then it will be imprinted in your mind, making it easy to remember in hard times. You might already agree that writing is important, but have you faced a consequence because of your lack of writing skills? Been denied a promotion once because of this. You can't keep everyone happy. I have burned my hands once and went into a frenzy. Now I have made peace with the fact that it's simply not feasible. Without the relevant experience or suffering to back it up, you're living in a house without a solid foundation. Answers from others are nothing more than stopgap measures. They are of no value. When things get tough, they eventually will. You'll simply forgot about that learning as you haven't arrived at the answer by yourself. So don't rush for answers. Take your time and arrive at them on your own. Oh man, this this makes so much sense. It definitely. I mean, this is so true. This is so true. I mean, one of the reasons I have stopped saying people that you should do your own thing or you should build your own because and or any kind of advice, because first of all I don't think I'm at a place where I can give advice, but second of all it's very contextual. Like if they haven't arrived at that conclusion themselves, then there is no point in me saying anything that contradicts their view or that says anything which is not in their, which they are not considering as of now. Like I mean, specifically now I consider everything as a game. So like for example, building a business is like a game. Now we have crossed like a level 1. The next step is to go to level 2. Now we have started podcasting. It's we are at level 0. Now we want to go to level 1. So it just like leveling up, which gives like, which sounds fun to me, to be honest. So this makes totally relatable, and it's very contextual too, right? Like for example, you can't give me an advice to start a company. Like I can't give you an advice on starting a company like Side Panda. So it would be very different because our experiences are very different in both the domains.
Yep. Yep. I'll also drop a link to a manga in the chat, and it's actually very similar to what you said, that you level up in things.
This is like the manga where the character levels up.
Yep, yep. So the character starts, I don't remember how, but he somehow becomes a part of the game, and then every activity he does, he gets some experience points. So if you are just doing the dishes, he gets some experience points. And let's say his mom tells him to do something, then he sees on a display that a new side quest has been created. It was a fun thing. I read it back in college, but yeah, I feel you just maybe read the first 10 pages or so. I think you'll get a decent idea of it.
Right. Yeah, I follow a similar light novel like this called Solo Leveling, and it's not with respect to this context, it will fit right, but it's about a person who levels up. So he's the only person who is leveling up. So there's no one in the in the world who is leveling up, but he is the only person who is leveling up, and with each level he gets some things like some bonuses and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'll not divert the topic from this, but yeah, makes sense. Like this is
Definitely.
this.
Can you drop the link in the chat as well? We'll add it to the show notes.
Yeah, I mean it's mostly like a story, and it's really amazing. Have you watched like One Punch Man?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like that. Like it's like the character is overpowered, and he is going from zero to overpowered, and it's just nice to read. But with respect to the point you have mentioned, yeah, I mean I totally agree. I find it fascinating when people do things other than work, and they are like excited about it to make it grow. And, maybe as a passion or maybe to generate a revenue, both works. Like as long as you're it sounds very interesting to me that people are doing so many odd things, and I always get fascinated. Whoa, how exactly are you doing this? How exactly are you doing that? And it's always fascinating that there are so many things you can do if you have time or if you make time for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you want to wrap up the episode?
Cool. So I feel like we should do something different. So yeah, actually, folks, we are thinking of putting it on YouTube from next week onwards. So if you want that to happen, let us know on Twitter. Our handle is Going Slow Pod, and let us know specifically the areas that you liked so that we can talk more around it. And if you didn't like us, then definitely let us know. We'll try to improve on it. I don't know. No promises. And yeah, until next time, stay curious and don't forget to have fun.